Good morning, Sandra LaFlamme with Vernon Brown, and we've got a filming session that we're going to be doing here in just a moment. And he is the happiness doctor. I don't know if anybody's called you the happiness doctor before, but it seems like I got inoculated already this morning in speaking to you.
Yeah.
So Vernon Brown, the happiness. What does it mean if you could be happy every day, or if you, now see, I'm all mixed up because I'm so happy about all of it. Because this is if your energy is low and you don't know it, you know if you're not happy, right?
For sure. Whether consciously or unconsciously, there's some awareness because you're picking up on some things.
Yeah. And so in picking up on addressing how someone for themselves says, wow, my energy is low. We don't know what we don't know. If our energy is low, however, it's coming across in our face, in our voice, in our body language, even in Zoom meetings, it can come across. What are the things that you first help people with?
So first up, Sandra, I got to say thank you for us connecting. Thank you for us just making this happen. You know, it's an interesting thing. Like, no one is exempt from this. I want to make sure I say this. I mean, I'm not trying to pathologize anything, but low energy. And it's something that all of us have experienced at some point in our lives. It's concentration, focus, awareness are completely gone. You know, it's kind of like when you're reading a book and you'll read 3 pages and like, what did I just read? You have to keep going back and it's just not sticking, right? We become a little critical, we become judgmental. We can just become just a different person than who we are. And oftentimes, you know, we can keep up just kind of the facade of everything's okay. But, you know, when the camera's off, when the phone hangs up, when we're by ourselves, we just kind of, boom, kind of collapse. And it's one of those things that's slow and insidious. You don't pick up on it. You know, to give you another example, because I'm big on examples so people get it, is the things that used to take you 30 minutes or an hour start taking you 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. You know, the things that used to find a lot of excitement from, all of a sudden they become a drain. And, you know, a big example that I'm always using is thinking about, you know, when you want to go to the gym, I want to exercise. I'm big on exercise and moving my body. It helps me clear things up. But all of a sudden you're like, oh gosh, I got to get my shoes on. And then I got to lace them up. And then I got to get the keys. And then everything becomes like this process. And it's just a sign of low energy. And it's something that, again, we can all experience in our lives.
And a couple of things that you and I have in common, and it's that we work out every morning, one way or the other, at a very early hour. And it's not a decision, we're just doing it, like brushing our teeth. How did, you know, I think when we were talking about this earlier, you said that those are some good habits that create the foundation for great success.
Absolutely. You know, it's, you know, and everyone's wired a little differently. I don't want to tell everybody that you need to get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I know we get up early to get things going, but that's just the way that works for us. So I always encourage people to find a way that works for them. But it's, you know, in addition, I want to add on to everything you're saying, it's your rituals, your habits, your routines are determining your level of success. You know, whenever I talk with someone, and you can work with, and I've worked with thousands of people over the last 6 going on 7 years now, and the more successful people, or however you define success, it's relative in so many cases, once you step outside of finances, right? Because all of your people, they're achievers, they're succeeders. It's not about the finances, that's a reward for them achieving, but it's your routine. And especially, you know, I call this the great reset, everything that's happening right now, because I'm always trying to put things into the positive. Yes, there are some tragic things that have happened, but it's making people connect on a different level into the basic fundamentals. And one of the fundamentals is, are you setting yourself up for success daily? Are you getting up, moving your body? You know, I get up early, 4:30, and I start moving my body around, not only because it's one of the few times I can get when my son's not driving me bonkers. You know, I love my son, but let's be real. I need that special time for myself to kind of recharge my juices, to think. And your routine is so important, because routines, when it comes to success isn't, and we talked about this, and everyone, I don't mean to diarrhea all over you or just blah, but it's.
Oh, I love it. Keep going.
This is just how I'm wired this way, but it's success isn't this giant ball that you know, in November, you're just going to crush it. Yes, you are going to crush it, but those other 10 months prior, you did things to achieve it. You start your lead generation early. I work with entrepreneurs. I work with people who are just so driven to be successful. And, we start our lead generation at a certain time. We make sure that we're prospecting. We're making sure we're engaging in conversations. We're making sure we're giving every single time and giving everything. That is our habits that we intentionally etch out. One of the worst things you can do is to make success an accident. Do not make success an accident. That's going to hurt you long term. It's going to affect your confidence. It's going to affect your wherewithal. It's going to affect your ability to reproduce it. But it's, going back to what we originally talked about, is making sure that you have a successful routine or habit. I always get my clients, I am always pressing them, we need to optimize your schedule. Is it really successful? And that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to work harder. Most of the time it's working smarter. Do you have a break built into your day? What are you doing to connect with your family more and your friends more? We know you're going to be successful. That's by design. By design, you're going to be successful. You will be successful when we're working, because that's what we do. But it's making sure the yacht that you're building towards, make sure you're not on it by yourself, right?
Right.
But yeah, success is, it's not this condition. It's a habit. It's a ritual.
And I can't make somebody pursue a worthwhile dream. I can paint the worthwhile dream, but in pursuing it, there's some fundamentals to happiness. You're talking about these habits that allow you to get into that pursuit at a higher, bigger, deeper, faster level, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And leveraging what works is also leveraging what's inside of you and how you're wired. You and I are wired differently than, like, my 88-year-old mother has always been wired differently. And she used to be upset at me. You're just like your father. Well, my dad and I were wired very similar. We had similar communication styles. But just because we were go, go, go people didn't mean that we didn't have to come back and nurture that self-time. We're just wired differently, and we nurtured it differently. So in talking to all the different groups, like my mom used to sew our clothes. That gave her a great deal of joy, being by herself, achieving that sewing. Now my sister and I still sometimes dress alike. So we're 16 months apart. She used to just sew the same thing and put us in two of the same outfits about the same different size. But that brought her joy. And then as my dad's business grew, she had to keep finding that ability to find that time within herself, because in looking back, I see now in her 80s how she gets in that mode in the morning and finds her joy. She operates this and so strong. So my personal opinion is this helps you live long and live strong like it does my mom. So for people who are wired differently, how do you help them find those things that help them regroup?
I love what you said about your mom, and it's a great example of your mom and your dad and just like your sister and everything, because I never speak in absolutes, right? Because the big thing is the things we or other people, your viewers, we're all wired a little differently. However, I like to think largely that we all are building towards something that we want, whether we're conscious of that or not. We're all building towards something that we want. But a big thing with happiness, a big thing that find you excitement, big things that drive you is recognizing what makes me happy won't make you happy. And it's finding you're happy in that special, unique way. You mentioned what your mom loves. That's her happy. And when I'm with someone, it's recognizing, like, what did you used to do that brought you a lot of excitement? Because, oftentimes happy and doing fun things, that's going to be the first thing that goes. I've seen this thousands of times. Doing something fun is one of the first thing that goes when we start working towards something. Because we start thinking that, oh gosh, different things, like if I start having fun, I'm going to be taken away from it, when that recharges you. But it's getting people to go back to that kind of core person. And I'm always letting people know, like, everything that we needed to know, we learned when we were a kid. It's playing. You didn't know if you would like to ride the bike down the hill, with no hands, but guess what? You got curious about it and tried it. Next, boom, you find it. So it's about getting curious. It's about people recognizing that oftentimes we know what it is. We just need the right questions, the powers and the questions. And, those questions it's not telling people, but it's getting people curious about it. Curiosity is a form of playing, by the way. It's fun to be curious. That's why we like detective shows. That's why we like these mysteries. They're fun. So a lot of, finding out what lights you up is just getting curious. One of my happies, just to give an example, is I love going to grocery stores when I traveled, especially back, prior to all this. I was traveling every month. I'm in different states. I'm just seeing different things. I love different locales, grocery stores, because just to see what they have, that's my happy. But it's curiosity. It's all about curiosity. And once we figure out what it is, it's scheduling your happy. You need to do it often. Picture you have a hard day, you have a long day, you have a successful day, you have a great day. Celebrate it with the thing that makes you happy.
So in backing up to the grocery store makes you happy. Which favorite aisle?
I have to say the international aisle. I love fixing, and my son, he's 5, and he's at that stage where he doesn't like certain things, and he does, but he's at that stage where he's so curious, and I'm always curious. I'm gonna be a kid to the day I die, but it's international aisle. I love finding new ingredients and say, hey, what can I make with this?
So, okay, so in Iowa, the international aisle is food from Louisiana. I mean, we're we're really kind of, I grew up around a bunch of German farmers and Swedish Lutherans and a bunch of Amish. I mean, we really just, that meat and potato, we're just swinging through and maybe grabbing some extra things for the extra 50 people that might be driving by. So, I mean, and also we have a great sense of humor. And I can see where you're saying getting to those places that bring you happy. Because when I'm back in Iowa, there's a potato chip company called Sturzing's, and they have something from back when they first started making these potato chips after World War II that they would only sell in a certain area. So Sturzing's will only allow stores to sell within a certain area of Iowa. So when any of us are back there, we all go to the Sturzing aisle and take a selfie and send it to our friends, like, hey, and then everyone's like, send me some Sturzing's. But I can see where what you just said painted that picture in my head, like, yes, even going to the grocery store when I'm back in Iowa, as soon as I get in that potato chip aisle in front of those potato chips, and I'm grabbing some, and unfortunately I'm gonna eat a bunch of them, but I'm taking pictures and kind of spreading that happy note around, right? I can't eat too many potato chips because those carbs, that's too many miles on a treadmill. But you took something where you were traveling and found joy in something that is everywhere. Thank God we have grocery stores everywhere and outdoor markets everywhere now popping up. So for somebody who says, well, I live in the city and that's just not going to work for me, what example do you give the folks that have a little less opportunity to get out and about the way you and I do?
It's a great question. It's recognizing that not every time we need to go someplace or need to do something that's big and kind of grandiose. 'Cause I know sometimes, guess what? If it's 3 foot of snow outside, you're not going to the grocery store, right? And even before, I want to kind of get ahead to kind of frame this. I'll go into a room, a few thousand people, and I'll say, everyone throw your hands in the air if you know what makes you happy, right? And everyone throws their hand up. And then I'll say this, and I'm saying this to your viewers, it can't involve anyone else.
Okay.
It can't involve buying or spending, and it cannot involve food or alcohol.
Okay.
I want to repeat this. No food or alcohol. Food will put more weight on you sometimes. Alcohol will have you sending a text you don't want to send. No, buying or spending. Too many times, if you keep using that Capital One card, you're going to be creating a different habit. You know what I mean? You don't want to put yourself there, and it only can involve yourself. And so all of a sudden I say that and they'll drop their hands down. And I say that because you got to keep things simple. I'm a huge fan of KISS. Keep it stupid simple. Keep it simple, stupid, however you want to say it. But it's these things that we can do that don't require a lot. I am always suggesting to people, dancing and singing is in every culture throughout this life, in any life.
Did you say dancing and singing?
What's that?
Did you say dancing and singing?
Oh yeah, it's in every culture, no matter where, because it makes you happy. Like, I dare you to dance to Michael Jackson's Thriller and try to be in a bad mood. It ain't gonna happen.
Right. I can do this move, right? I can do the monster move, but and then that stuff, but all the other stuff, wow. Yeah, and that's fun, isn't it?
It makes you smile. It makes you be like, oh my gosh, because you're like, listen to, a Dolly Parton song, listen to any song, Whitney Houston, anybody, and try to get in that bad mood. It ain't gonna happen. You can't frown doing a Macarena. You can't.
Right.
And it's recognized. And also just like the arts, I love to draw. It's a big, big thing, art. And when you're drawing, you're in this world, this creative place, whether you're looking at something because I love still lifes or you're creating it. It's recognizing, as much as I love grocery stores, I love to cook. Cooking is like my personal kind of Bill Nye experimentation place.
Yeah.
It's starting with those things. And even just to give an added tip here is I call them positive brain breaks. 3 to 5 1 to 2 minute brain breaks a day will significantly change the way that you show up. It will stop you from being critical. It will stop you from being judgmental. It will stop you from being argumentative. If you feel like you're having a really tough day, a long day, or you're just feeling like sometimes you just kind of, we got some cloudy weather, you just kind of feel, meh, take a couple minutes, look at some cat pictures, look at some dog pictures, laugh at something that's just goofy. Like I love the movie Moana, so much positive imagery. And, just even thinking about it makes me smile. I'm a big fan of The Rock. He makes you smile just because, like him or not, you can't help but see that he just makes, anyway, but, those positive brain breaks are key, critical. But make sure no buying or spending, no food or alcohol, and it only can involve yourself. Please, please, please remember that out of everything I've said. You find that out, you need to do it religiously and schedule it because it's fun.
Excellent. And you painted a picture for me that I could now unplug, and it's good for me. I'm not under some industrial age condemnation that I got to work, and the harder you work, the better off you would be. Yeah, there's work to do mentally and emotionally, and that is the price I will pay to be productive and leverage everything that I do at a higher, faster, better. But I'm not going to be able to get there if I don't recharge and plug in. And you're saying 3 to 5 times a day for 3 to 5 minutes? Or did I get that right?
Yeah, 3 to 5 times a day, 1 to 2 minutes. We forget that rest is part of the process. If you're going to the gym every single day, working that same muscle group, it's not going to work. You got to give it a break. It's part of the process. What's the point of climbing to the top of the mountain if you're exhausted once you get there? You're not gonna be able to take the view in because you're leaning over, you're panting, right?
Right.
And it's again, it's almost antithetical to us high achievers. I let all my clients know, like, your business is going to grow. It has no choice but to grow. And that's not the issue. The issue that comes up is we want to go, 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 go. No. Simple equation: more work, more playtime. And that's like relieving the people. Like, I can play? Yeah, I want you to. There's sometimes I've told my clients, I'm not going to see you until you do something fun for yourself. And they look at me like, well, Vernon, you're kidding me. I'm like, no, I'm not joking. And I will ask, did you do something fun? And they were like, well, yeah. Or, in many cases, especially because I'm big on, us being family people, I'm so big on people connecting more. People think about success. You want to make sure you're with your loved one. I'll ask them, when's the last time, and we talked about this, when's the last time you did something kind and cared for your partner? They're like, oh boy. And newsflash, guess what? That is something that needs to be checked on. It needs to be managed. When we need to make sure that we're avoiding those two dangerous places in life, and that's in your head and in your bed. Make sure that you're taking care of one another, your loved ones. Even if you don't have a partner and you're working towards having a partner, make sure you're taking care of the people that are in your life that you do love.
Wow.
I know I kind of went all around there, but
isn't that awesome? And you said it first, in your head and in your bed, because I'm not going to go to my husband and say, what are you going to do for me nice now? You're advocating and helping me believe and see that not only does it help me, but when I'm thinking of him and what makes him happy, it makes him really happy when I make his Earl Grey tea with just the right amount of sweetener that's not sugar, just the right amount of milk, and he likes it served stirred up and hot in a couple of cups. He even has a couple of favorite cups. And if I do that in the morning, it makes him feel good, and it makes him feel me acting kindly towards him. We've only been married 8 years. It took me a long time to figure out this Earl Grey part. And that was, I finally took my clue because he was offering to make me a cup of coffee because I drink coffee. And had to really monitor that. Wow, he is operating in a way that he receives and gives. So if I take my clue of how he gives, that'll also give me a clue of how he receives, right?
Absolutely.
And that's not always easy. If you're in your head walking around all about business and only thinking about business, which is, thank God I'm connecting with you and providing this for everyone. We have a huge team here in Florida. More than 40 agents all around serving people. And with the market change and things getting to the next level, and I don't see a lot of things changing back as these new things happen in our business, there are more and more professionals, whether it's a lawyer or someone we're serving, a doctor or a dentist, they are working harder, but maybe not becoming as happy because some of those happy things were taken away. But if they had gone to your seminar, they would have found out already that it can't involve someone else, it can't involve food or alcohol, and it can't involve, what was the other thing?
Buying or spending.
Buying or spending, which is a problem for people. They can get endorphins from spending. They can get endorphins, but they'll be on Amazon. Wow, I could buy this kitty litter and this cat food, but now I can get my cat this cat house, and all of a sudden they've got a different kind of problem going with that endorphin. You're talking about how to manage that endorphin that's always been available, but now critical than ever. So you've also got at What's Your Happy on Facebook, a hub that people can go and find out more, and also a website developing. But in November, you're rolling out a 12-week course that people can go to, which everyone that is listening or hears about this will want to go to. How do they plug into what you're teaching and leading and giving?
And thank you for mentioning this. This is the impetus behind this started, I guess, and that kind of chaos at the beginning and still kind of now is I noticed that people were trying to figure out what drives them, right? Because we had this big shift, like what's going on? There was so much uncertainty, and I created Own Your Happiness. And it's a 12-week class. And, I'll be leading this live starting November 16th. I'm really going to start talking about this more and more and more. Me and my team are putting things together. But it's a 12-week class on the core fundamentals of happiness that I found over several thousand clients, again, over the last, 6 going to 7 years. And it's about people understanding what happening is. Like, I really go into the details. And it's a weekly class. We meet for an hour. And for my early adopters of it, we're going to get time together, one-on-one, so we can really work through things. Your business is going to grow. I'm not concerned about that. It's there. We focus on that. We talk about that, but it's about understanding boundaries. What are boundaries to you? What are boundaries so you can make sure that you are insulating yourself so you can recharge? And how can you better manage boundaries in your relationships? It's about understanding like what love looks like, about what happiness looks like in relationships, understanding relationships. I don't know about you, but I never read the book on life. And this is just a combination. This is a culmination of everything I've collected and gathered over the years and just a lot of my experiences that I've seen that have kept people grounded. It's about understanding communication. It's about understanding different styles. As we've talked about different styles. And it's not just, personality types, but I mean styles. Recognizing the dance of interacting with one another. I like to keep things fun. It's, again, 12 weeks through 90 days. And for, again, early adopters, we get that one-on-one time. It's about doing weekly trainings in lieu of also meeting weekly so people can get role playing done. Because it's easy to tell people about boundaries. It's easy to say this is what you say, but you got to role play and talk about what could or couldn't happen and how to adjust. But it's a lot of fun. I've had several hundred students in the program already. And now it's like, let's go, guys. Let's go out there and, own your happiness. It's up to you.
That's exciting. That role play factor is going to be a really big deal. And I know in my head, I'm already scheduling myself to be in this class. What time of day is it going to be? Or will you have several options?
It's going to be a couple different options. Right now, it's looking like Sunday is going to be a very strong contender because I'm trying to make it work. And also because I work with so many different agents across the country, Tuesdays are really looking like a strong winner right now. Because I keep, over the last, 18 months, I've just seen Tuesdays are a strong day. But Sunday and Tuesdays are looking like the biggest ones. But we're exploring some different options because I want this to be accessible to people. But in the event that people can't make it, in the Facebook group, it's going to be a private Facebook group as well. They're going to be the recordings there. And also because I want to create a community of people who are working on being better. This class is about that 1%. It's not about that 80% that we all think we need to have. No, it's 1%. Like, think about it. Every week you got 1% better. You're 52% better in a year. And if you're doing 1% every single day, because I give homework and you're doing these things, you're going to be 365% better. Like, who doesn't want that? And then 1%, to kind of give people an idea, that's the difference between you saying, hey, I'm going to call a client today, and the difference between, hey, let me call, 2 clients, in the week, because now you're prospecting. Now you're getting these rituals and habits. Now you're practicing how you sound. You're practicing your diction. It's like those things that lead to more success. But it's for the 1%ers.
That's exciting. And how much do I need to budget for this 12-week class?
And, again, it's another great question. I want to make this affordable, and I want to make it as an option that people can say, hey, why not do this? And also at the same time saying, hey, I need to take this serious. And we've been looking at $24.97.
That's good. That's a good, I'm serious. I'm going to go for this. I'm going to put my money down and I'm going to give it my full time and attention. That's awesome. And you and I will be building up to that. Hopefully, if we can carve out, maybe even talking every week as we move forward, you'll give me some insight and understanding how to work through that with what you have on your plate so that we can get people ramped up and knowing about this November and this awesome training that you are providing for everyone. Now, I know on your website, you have a website and a telephone number that they can get a hold of you. Can you mention that again?
Yeah, it's what'syourhappy.com, and it's happy with an I. Now, people will ask, like, why happy with an I? And I let people know why an I, because you matter. But it's about waking you up additionally, because when you see that happy with an I, like, why? Like, why an I? Now we can talk. Now we can kind of break that what's wrong thinking. But it's what'syourhappy.com. And my phone number that you can reach me at is 804-396-3766.